Hey, what do we see happening to
There have some narrative from government officials, including the president, that some of these bandits are from outside the country. Now, if amnesty is an option, who are we likely to offer this amnesty?
So you see,
Nigerians or foreigners?
So you see the problem that we have when a simplistic solution is provided for a very serious problem. And I said that we may need to go back to find where this started. At the beginning of this insurgency, most of us cried out and shouted and pointedly accused the government of being lackadaisical in their approach. And there were a lot of reasons given, and one of the reasons given was also by the same presidency, saying that, oh, these were influx of people coming from outside after the war in Libya and so forth. And we now said, if these were foreigners, why would you treat them with kid gloves? And your own citizens, you don't treat them with kid gloves. Every little thing on the citizenry, you come back with very harsh reprisals. Yet, these foreigners are coming, and you leave these foreigners. Now, Baraje, the former PDP acting chairman, the other day on the 70th birthday, gave us an insight in how this whole thing started and said that prior to the 2015 elections against Jonathan, that elements within this particular government actually invited these Fulani militias to come to cause mayhem if they lost the election. And that they said at that time, and we're telling these people, this is going to go to unimaginable. I
read that and I was waiting for a response either from the APC or from the government for us to really situate and authenticate that assertion credited to Baraje, but I have not seen any.
Precisely, because it's true. These people were brought in,
perhaps in
they
the
were
days to
used,
come,
and of course they have said that they're not going anywhere again. And then they are being told that, oh, that this whole area called Nigeria is theirs for the taking. And so, I'm sure that even those who invited them in can no longer reach them and can no longer even tell them to go away. So, what do you do in this circumstance? And we go back. And I want every Nigerian to please look for Wole Soyinka's recipe. You will see that these are things that need to be done. The president of Nigeria can no longer continue to pretend that all is well and I'm not going to talk to anybody. You must come out. The reason why we elect you is so that the buck stops on your table. And the biggest problem we have today is this raging insecurity and problems, kidnapping, banditry, this, that. And of course, you know what happened? When the people from Boko Haram side drifted over to the northwest and the media were shouting and saying, oh, these people are moving, they say, oh, don't talk about them, no longer call them Boko Haram, don't call them this, start to call them bandits. Of course, they are Fulani militia. The Sultan of Sokoto the other day also said that out of every 10 persons caught kidnapping, 8 were Fulani.
But he also said that is not enough to begin to stereotype.
Of course, you cannot stereotype people because of what some people do. What now happens is this. Why would the Fulani that are law-abiding, that live all over Nigeria, that are in responsible positions, not be able to come out and say, no, so far, no more, can't happen, you can't bring these people. So, and we have always said, oh, people come from Niger, people come from Mali, people come from this and that. And of course, the Nigerian government continues to pretend that all is well. All is not well. We are not sure that that Nigeria of 1960 to 1985 down to 1990 that I know as the Nigerian of today will ever come back to us.
The president yesterday, while addressing the a summit of the African Union put a charge on the table for the Pan-African group. You die reform or you die. The same pressures people are putting on the president in Nigeria to reform, restructure, re-engineer the country, or it goes the way of Rwanda. Some say, you said Afghanistan, some say the road to Rwanda. If the president recognizes the need for a Pan-African body to recognize, to reform, should he also not look in West to see how, as they say, charity begins at home, to begin to think of ways of reforming our body politic?
Well, let's just put it this way. Some of us have given up on this government. Some people say,
you've not given up on the country.
I have not given up because we have to be eternal optimists that things can get better. And when this type of things happen, so when the president is talking about reformation, he's also indicting himself, because at every point, all that people have said is this contraption is no longer working. We need to all come together and have a discussion. They don't even want to have a discussion. And you could see the consequences of not talking about it. The consequence of not talking about it is increasing failure of government. And that's a big pity for us, for each and every one of us who's a patriot in Nigeria.
We'll go for a short break now. When we come back, more issues on the table waiting for Senator Abaribe's attention. Please do stay with us.
Are you looking for accurate, factual, undiluted Nigerian and foreign news? Then look no further. Yan's Nigerian Foremost News Outlet provides you with balanced news items across several categories, such as
local,
politics,
foreign,
gossips,
entertainment,
documentaries,
opinion and sports. Our team of professional journalists and reporters will ensure that you stay informed at all times, because information is power.
You can also watch exciting visual content like daily news recap,
Inside the Parliament,
celeb gists,
Vox Pop,
and documentaries from our sisters platform,
Yans TV. At Yans, professionalism is our watchword.
Yans Media Limited.
Excellence in service delivery.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Senator Aidñģ Fùĺàñiś, Senate Minority Leader, has been weighing in on topical national issues. Before we restart again, let's go straight to our Twitter feed. Cas Clement has a question for the senator here. He says, one thing baffles him on federal character. How is it that all those skilled appointments got passed with senators from the South voting for it? Because I feel the members from the Southeast could, for instance, stage a walkout to protest the imbalance in the distribution of positions.
Well, I don't blame him. Most of those appointments do not need confirmation in the Senate. At least up to 80% of the appointments don't need confirmation. Those ones that need confirmation, what normally happens is that when it comes to the floor, then it becomes a vote. And when it becomes a vote, part of the ruling party members are twisted to just toe the party line. And that's what they continue to tell you. Say, oh, the president cannot make a mistake. So if we say no, it will mean that we are indicting our president. And so because of that, and even though they come back and tell you that they don't accept this, but what can they do?
They're hamstrung.
Yeah, they are just hamstrung. It happens in parliamentary democracy. At the end of the day, it's always the numbers that determine what happened.
Yes, I've heard seen some protests, but like you said, the majority.
Well, we protest. I mean, people see me
more
protest.
Action, more visible action.
I think what Nigerians need to also do, which they don't do, is pressure your representative. Pressure your representative. Send message to them. Try to go to their constituency offices and say, this is how we feel. A lot of people are complacent. They just lie back, and you know, they expect that things will be done. Because people react under pressure too. If somebody knows that, oh, I'm going to go and seek election tomorrow, he would act in the best interest of his constituency. That is the position.
Okay, you're part of the leadership of the Senate. Some people, and it's gaining ground and gaining momentum, have described the Senate, in fact, the entire National Assembly as rubber stamp. Does it affect you? You're part of a leadership of a legislation termed rubber stamp by some people?
Well, it's, of course, it's not just that people say it. People have told me to my face, you know, and there's no other way you can, you know, put it. But I think the question too of being a rubber stamp also depends on how you look at it. And I've said it. I have my own feelings. I make it known. If my colleagues find it difficult to put national interest before party interest, well, there's nothing much I can do about that. I bet we make it very well known at all times. This is not good. This we think should be done better and all that. And like I said, what we see today coming from the federal government of Nigeria under APC is a situation where some parts of this country are not seen as equal partners in the business of Nigeria. That's all.
You once called for the resignation of the president based on the growing insecurity. Do you still maintain that stance, and what kind of reaction did you get from your party members, from other senators, and from even the government?
Well, I think that was in 2017, and since then, of course, the talk about resignation has resonated, and so many people have said. At the time I said it,
so many followers now.
Yeah, at the time I said it, I actually was trying to say, let us head off a catastrophe facing us. And usually, when you do that, you are misinterpreted. And of course, what I meant, which I still continue to, is if you're incapable of doing the right thing, quit, so that those who are capable can actually do the right thing. The bane of Africa has always been that we have the Èxpøśé syndrome. And it's part of what is in my book. We have the Èxpøśé syndrome. Once somebody gets into office, he is imbued with I will say extraordinary power.
Little jigger.
And everybody now says, oh, he is a god, whatever he says is right, and so on and so forth. But I'm an Igbo man. And we have a saying that when the king is going the wrong way, that you put a basket on your head and tell him the appropriate thing. So what we are saying is that people are not putting baskets on their head and telling the king the appropriate thing, assuming that we call our president the king. It's not. It's actually the other way around. It's a public servant that we have elected into office to serve us. But, you know, somehow, you need to read that book.
It will make an interesting
you turn it around and it becomes now, and of course, once you have a king, you have all the courtiers, you have all the this, and that's what we see all over the place. And of course, some people take it upon themselves to attack you daily for being vocal.
Critical.
Let's just say vocal. Oh, you're not loyal because you're saying this is wrong. You understand? And so, what I think that the APC government need to do today is that they need to actually do a retreat. Go back, think through all the promises that they made to Nigerians. And they have failed all. So they need to ask themselves the question, why? And how do we come out of this morass? Because if they don't do it, I'm afraid, very, very afraid, that this may be the last government that will be in this country. Because right now, what you see is that every part of this country is getting ready to say,
resort to self-help.
Of course. And if everybody resort to self-help, then the essence of government at the center no longer is...
yes. We talked about resort to self-help. We are seeing Amoteco in the southwest, Eastern Security Network in the southeast, taking over security responsibility. But all of the ESN is linked to IPOB and no legal backing. How will it fit into the security arrangement?
Well, let's just put it this way. There's also another Igbo proverb that says that it's only the tree that you come out with a knife and it will still stand there until you cut it down. Human beings react to situations. And so